for the third time this week in a row of 4. Welcome to Starcastic Remarks. To my right is Christian. To my left is James. My name is Ryan. You are listening to our weekly Wednesday night episode. Thank you to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor of this episode, this podcast, and all at THPN. Hey guys, how is it going today?
It's going great. My curtain that's normally right here fell at like 2 a.m. last night, so that was terrifying. And now
Just randomly just
tapping
fell
on my window. Oh yeah, it just fell. Well, I hope it was randomly, or else I have a ghost infestation.
That would stink.
Creepy. Yeah, I know. Especially this close to Halloween, it kind of makes sense, right?
Oh, it makes tons of sense.
How old is your building, Christian?
Yeah.
That does not make me feel much better, and I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Well, it's pretty old. There's boards coming off of it. They're replacing some of the boards, so that's nice. But
some of the boards.
Yeah, but it's old.
Goodness gracious. All right, guys. We want to welcome you to the episode tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. There was one question I was going to ask tonight, but it kind of already got answered in today's big news with the Dallas Stars, and we'll get to that obviously tonight. But first things first, we need to go through some of the NHL stuff that's been going around. Obviously, we need to talk about Phil the Thrill, not Kirill the Thrill, but Phil Kessel with the Iron Man streak a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about a couple of teams that are surprising us. We talked about it a little bit last week, but some of those teams have continued to do really well. So we're going to mention those teams again. We're going to talk some Dallas Stars stuff. There's a lot of Dallas Stars stuff to talk about. Garyanov, Peterson, Blue Mel. What the heck? I can't believe I didn't see that one coming. I should have, but we have that to talk about. We need to talk about Pavelski because the dude's 38 and he's playing like he's 28. Johnson is nearing the end of his tryout with the Dallas Stars at the NHL level. Will he be sent back to the OHL? We'll answer that question a little bit. And then we'll go through a couple of the games from this week, just kind of very briefly touch about them and maybe go into some certain specifics that we saw, whether it was good things or bad things or anything like that. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and start with Phil Kessel. So Phil Kessel, obviously, he becomes the new Iron Man, surpassing Keith Yandel, who recently retired in the offseason. He has 990 straight games where he has not missed a single game. And he also, in that same exact game, he got his 400th career goal. So super fantastic as to what he did. How impressive is that streak that Phil Kessel was able to do that?
Quite as impressive, especially since he's doing it on a diet of hot dogs. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's absolutely insane. I mean, the dude's only 35 right now, so if he's as ageless as Pavelski, then he has another like 5 years in him.
All right, yeah. We'll see. And you know, he's one of those guys that you never have to question whether he's going to be in the lineup or not. He's nowhere near like he was, you know, when he was in Pittsburgh or especially when he was in Toronto. He's not that same player anymore, but he can still put the puck in the net and he can still be a legitimate scoring threat for the Vegas Golden Knights. So we'll see how he does this year. And 8 games into the new season, he's the new Iron Man streak holder. So congratulations to Phil Kessel on that. A couple of teams we need to talk about. One in particular that I wanted to talk about, but we'll also talk about whatever you guys want to talk about as well, whatever teams. And one team that it's ridiculous that they're this bad already. I want to talk about the negative first. So let's just talk about Vancouver. Vancouver is seriously still the only winless team in the NHL. And this is a team that I honestly pegged to make the playoffs. I honestly had them third in the Pacific. And the further that this season goes along, I'm really starting to think that they're not even going to make the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, they haven't won a game, so it doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they also can't hold on to a lead to save their lives. I think in in almost all the games, they've had at least some lead, and they've blown it every time. So it's been a very rough opening to the season for them.
There was a video I saw on YouTube earlier today, and it was a portion of the Steve Dangle podcast. And, they're talking about Vancouver, right? And this is after they've lost only 4 games in a row at this point. And Steve Dangle is like, betting it. And he's like, Vancouver fans, y'all will not lose a 5th game in a row by, having a multiple goal lead and losing the game. So they clip that part in the video. It's like a minute long. They put it for the first 30 seconds, and then they show the Minnesota Wild game where they were up 3-1 and they lost the game in overtime 4-3. So it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand what's so bad
in that game. They were up 3-2 in that game, but yeah, they still lost it.
Okay, all right. I thought they were up 3-1, but
no.
Nonetheless, they still lost 5 games in a row with having a lead. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. And like, listen to the names on this list. It doesn't make sense. They've got, they got Elias Pettersson. They've got JT Miller, who scored over 100 points last year. You've got Brock Besser. You've got Quinn Hughes, who is one of the best young defensemen in the NHL right now. You got Thatcher Demko. Thatcher Demko, I would put up there right now with the Igor Shesterkins, the Andrei Vasilevskis of the world. Those two guys are in like tier 1. Thatcher Demko is like in tier 2, but just barely. So I'm shocked that this team is as bad as they are, and there's calls to fire their head coach, Bruce Boudreau, after the crazy amazing run that he had last season.
What a crazy thought! Firing the coach to get better? That would never happen. Not in a million years for Vancouver.
Well, here's the thing about it, though, is that they've been bad, and they were bad before he got here. So is it really Boudreau's fault, or is it like just the team in general? Like, they just don't fit together. I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't think it would do any good.
No, probably not. I think the team's not as good as people think it is. I think all those players are overrated. I think Demko is way overrated, especially by you. I think everyone remembers what he did in the playoffs, which was obviously fantastic. And they are attributing that to him now. He is not that goaltender. I really don't think he is. So he's shown signs of it at times, but he has not played consistently like that for an entire season.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely...
That's fair. But I still think he's in that second tier. And you're allowed to disagree with me
vehemently.
100%.
Yeah. And honestly, that team's whole problem is all defense. Obviously, they can score. They get leads all the time. They just give it up in an instant, man. Like, instantly. It's just gone.
So the other team I wanted to talk about, and let's talk a little positively, is how about them Buffalo Sabres? Right? I mean, I think they're 5-1 right now, James. If I'm
4-2.
4-2.
They did end up losing that game.
Oh, well. Who did they play? I think it was Seattle.
They were playing the Kraken, and they lost 5-1.
And that's who they lost to. Like, really? Like, that's such a Dallas Stars thing to do for the Buffalo Sabres. They beat all these good teams, and then they lose to a team like the Kraken. No offense to the Kraken, but they're just not a good team right now. They've looked excellent. They really have. And I mean, when you look at the roster, no offense to them, but it's not like they have like the guys that Vancouver does, if that makes any sense. I mean, you've got Tage Thompson, who did really well. You've got Victor Olofsson. Alex Tuck has looked really good. Casey Middlestad. But I guess the real surprise here is Rasmus Dahlin, who's just gone on a freakishly goal-scoring streak to start the season. And I think last week when we were talking about him, it was just like 3 or 4 games, and he continued that streak. So it's fantastic, and I'm happy for Buffalo Sabres fans. And I know that we went through our period of darkness when the Stars were bankrupt and they were kind of owned by banks and stuff like that. They have never made the playoffs in over a decade in Buffalo. So if there's a team, if the Stars are really going to suck it up this year, and if there's another team that I would really want to root for, I think it would be Buffalo. Just because I want to see them make the playoffs, and they're an underdog. So what do y'all think? Do you think I'm crazy?
I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll slow down eventually.
I say all these positive things, and Chris is just like, No, they suck. They're not
Yeah,
gonna
their
make the
young
playoffs.
guys are really good. I mean, I seriously think that they can just leave this team the way it is, maybe add a couple of pieces, and they can be a playoff team very soon. But I think right now it's just a hot start, and I think it'll cool off eventually. They'll be closer. I think they'll be in the fight for the bubble, but I think at the end of the day they'll be out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, just like Alex Tuck, for example, he's got 6 goals in 7 games and
Yeah,
7 points in those 6 games. That's crazy.
And with that, they're only 4-2.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not sustainable for Tuck.
That's true. But and against my own argument, I guess I should say, they've had hot starts in the past where they've looked really good and they've very quickly fallen off. So even if they make 500, I'll be happy for them. So we'll see how that goes.
2 more teams I want to talk about if you open the floor.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay, terrible start.
Yeah, 3-4, right?
3-4.
And they've looked weird. They've looked weird.
They looked bad. Right there with them is Columbus with their brand new shiny toy. They are terrible. I mean, 3-5 so far. So not great overall. And that's those 2 teams are bottom of the barrel in the Eastern Conference, by the way. So the Western Conference is far worse. But still, neither team is doing what anyone was expecting them to right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, James. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, with the Blue Jackets, they've been really weird, honestly, because they go out and they beat like the best teams who are hot, and then they lose to the Coyotes, and it's like that doesn't really make much sense.
That sounds very Dallas Stars like, doesn't it? Well, there was something I was gonna say and it completely just like dropped out of my mind.
I'll say something. Let's move on to the next topic that I didn't mention to either of y'all before we started. But did y'all see the post about the opposing team dressing rooms that are going to happen in the Coyotes stadium on the college campus?
I heard something about it, but I hadn't seen any pictures. Let me look some up. Hold on. I'll look some up while you're talking.
Pretty much on the concourse, just underneath the stands, they just put up a bunch of curtains. And there's your dressing room.
That's the dressing room?
That is the dressing room. You know, like those big stage curtains they use when you go to like if you went to TNEA, Ryan, and there's like this big curtain separating a ballroom into 2 separate rooms. This is one of them, except they just make a big square.
Okay.
And that's it. So yeah, y'all do what Ryan's doing. Y'all look it up. This entire situation is just a complete embarrassment on the entirety of the NHL. I'm befuddled as to why Bettman is allowing this to happen, and not only allowing it to happen, promoting it and wanting it to happen. This makes the sport look ridiculous. It makes it look not even close to any of the other 3 top 4 sports in North America. And it's a joke. It's a clown show. It's a clown show, to use some World Series terms. But it's a clown show.
I mean, it looks worse than a lot of soccer leagues, even. Like
MLS is beating us right now.
Yes.
There you go.
I would agree. I would say MLS is better.
So is this literally what it looks like right here?
That's the dressing room. Oh, my bad. That's not even under the stands. That's just on another rink.
It literally looks like another rink.
It is.
That is like absolutely terrible. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry I shared that.
Brooke and Michael Hall's comment. So one dressing room is for ASU, and the other dressing room is for the Coyotes. So now there's no visiting dressing room. So this is the visiting dressing room. This is their solution. As if not having a stadium and playing in a, I mean, there's high school arenas in Minnesota that are bigger than the ASU hockey stadium.
Ardell right here saying the dressing rooms at Richardson Star Center are more legit.
Beer leagues have actual dressing rooms.
Beer leagues have better dressing rooms than the pros.
And these professionals are dressing on the ice of another hockey rink.
Like Connor McDavid is going to be dressing right there. Connor McDavid, Leon
The,
Draisaitl.
the best hockey
We
player
play
ever.
there in a
exists.
couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know us. Like
We
Jamie
play there
Benn.
November 3rd.
Oh my gosh, this is
Soon.
absolutely ridiculous. Oh man, the sooner they get their stadium, the better. That's all.
But it's not
I'll
going to
say.
happen for at
That's
least
not
3
good.
years.
They don't even have a
It's gonna
plan
be
to
4.
make it yet.
It's gonna be
We're-
4. Mark
This
my words.
3 or 4 years. That's not a solution. And we're supposed to pretend like this is good for the National Hockey League to expand the sport, grow the sport in Arizona, where nobody lives anyway because it's hell.
Just because it's hot.
So
Oh my goodness.
this
It's
is
not exactly that bad.
ridiculous.
It's not that bad.
It's
The
ridiculous.
weather is not that bad. Yeah, I agree with you. That dressing room situation is ridiculous.
The whole situation
Absolutely ridiculous.
is ridiculous. It's a clown show.
Okay, I was gonna make this our Who Cares segment, but I'm gonna throw a Who Cares segment on y'all at last second and make y'all choose. So we're actually gonna go straight into our top 3 and our bottom 3 reverse retro jerseys that we saw. So
Word.
this second round, and I'll be honest, this second round was a lot better than the first round, in my opinion.
agree.
Like from almost all teams, there was a couple I was like, it is better, but you still could have done better than that. I still want a Mooterist jersey, and I don't think we're gonna see a reverse retro Mooterist jersey for another 10 years.
I heard on the Podman Rush it was in discussions, but it didn't make it very far. So, but it was on the table. It was on the table.
Yes, I listened to it on the way home today from church, and I was just like, oh, I got my hopes up so much. So it is what it is. But do we just want to do let's do our bottom 3 first, because the bottom 3
first.
Let's do bottom 3 first, because there were some of these that I was just kind of like,
There are correct answers here.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
there
there
are?
definitely are. There definitely are.
Yes.
Yes, in my
I just
opinion, there definitely
my
are.
own answers.
So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Do you just
This
want to
one
give
is
all
the
3
one-
or just one at a time?
We're doing one at a time.
Okay,
This is my
let's do one at a
third
time.
worst jersey.
Okay.
This one is one that I am fine with some disagreement here. It's the St. Louis Blues jersey.
Oh no, I'm with you on that one. I can't.
They're the St.
it's
Louis Blues,
ugly.
and it's a yellow jersey.
Yeah.
Think about that. And the stripes on the arms are ridiculous. That it looks stupid. Whatever. And the cuffs being blue is also ridiculous. It's terrible. You're the St. Louis Blues, wear blue. Someone else.
James.
All right. My number 3 is the Flyers, because they didn't change anything.
Yeah, that's fair. I had a separate category. And it's like, these are just their home jerseys. And that was my other category. So that's where the Flyers went.
Yeah, and Chris, ESPN had the St. Louis Blues. They ranked the 32 reverse retros. They have the St. Louis Blues at number 7.
Yeah, they probably have like Texas Longhorns football as like 6th in the nation too. So I don't agree with anything ESPN says.
Oh man. Oh. Okay, I'll give my first one. I can't stand word mark jerseys. There are some teams that can get away with it. The Rangers, for example, are one of the few teams that can get away with it. So I absolutely hate Chicago's jersey. I don't like it. It literally just says Chicago across the front.
And my number 2 is Chicago as well. And it's not just Chicago across the front. It also has terrible stripes along the bottom of the jersey. It's like the whole second half of the jersey is just this weird stripe pattern that has never been on a hockey jersey ever. And it looks terrible.
Yeah. It looks like they cheated off Detroit but added more stuff.
Yeah. They added white.
Yeah, so this is literally what the Chicago Blackhawks on the Dallas Stars, the NHL app. This is like the description of the jersey. The 1983 Chicago uniform takes on a literal interpretation of reverse retro. The black and red colors are inverted with the Chicago word mark inspired by the 2019 Winter Classic crest laying across the chest. It looks stupid. I mean, it literally just says Chicago across the top. They could have at least done like a diagonal or something like that. Yeah. I don't like it at all.
Looks bad.
Yeah.
All right, James.
James, your
second least favorite.
My second one is the Ottawa Senators. I I don't like how their jersey is just mostly black. and again, they didn't really change much with their jersey. I mean, I guess most of it is just like the whole thing is just black with like this weird diagonal red stripe from the logo to like the bottom hip or something.
I can
It
see
looks
that.
stupid to me.
That's
All
fair.
right. And my least favorite jersey is one that Ryan just mentioned. It was Detroit. Detroit is terrible. I don't care. I know it's a classic jersey. It sucks. I don't care.
I hate word mark jersey. I hate word mark jerseys. I just do. Have I already given two? I can't remember.
No, I don't think so. I think I just gave you third.
I think I just gave my third. Okay. I'm gonna give my second one to Minnesota, and the only reason I love the jersey, but here's the thing: they already did it. So instead of white, it's green. They did the exact same thing. They did the North Stars colors with the Minnesota logo.
And they're not they were never the North Stars.
Well, and I like the jersey, but there's no creativity there. They didn't do anything different. They just literally switched the white and the green and called it good. And I was like, well, that's stupid. So that's my second one. I'm kind of back and forth between my worst one, but
James, what's your least favorite while Ryan thinks about that?
Yeah,
my least favorite one is also Detroit's jersey.
Good. There's the
very
right
bland, and I think it looks stupid.
Agreed. It looks like a t-shirt.
It does look like a t-shirt.
Detroit still has the worst one from last year. Even the one from last year was even worse. It looked like a freaking practice jersey.
Yeah.
James, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think the worst one is the Flyers. In my opinion, I think the worst one is the Flyers. I was between the Flyers and the Flames because I just don't like. And it's just a personal thing. I just don't like what Calgary did with their jersey. I don't like it. So, but it's Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
I'm shocked to give it to Philadelphia. That's just their away jersey. I mean, it wasn't creative, but that's definitely not the worst one. I disagree.
So, okay, what are y'all's top three favorite ones? Top three favorite ones.
There were, like we said, there were so many good ones. My third, I went back and forth between the Rangers, Empire State Building jersey, and Johnny Canuck, and I had decided to go with the Johnny Canuck jersey. I think I like both logos equally. They're both iconic. The Johnny Canuck one is more funny because it's hilarious. It's just a Canadian with skates. That's great. But the striping on the Johnny Canuck jersey is better, so I give it to that. So Johnny Canuck is number 3. Honorable mention, New York.
James, number 3.
I'm still trying to decide my number 3, honestly.
Okay, I'll give you my number 3. Because I'm kind of between a couple as well, but I will. Dang. I'll go ahead and give it to New York Rangers. But shout out to the Islanders because the Islanders actually brought back the fisherman jersey, so I'm happy about that. But it's got to be the Rangers jersey. I love especially that blue. I don't know what it is about that blue color. It's fantastic. And the red sleeves, yeah, and the logo is just fantastic too. ESPN ranked it 16th, like in the center, and I was just
ESPN
no.
ESPN is the worst.
Like it needs to be top 3, like for sure. So that's my number 3.
All right,
James.
All right, my number 3. I'm gonna go with the Anaheim Ducks. I like the
that one
hockey
too.
Mask jersey or old hockey mask jersey. I always liked that logo. I remember looking at the NHL games and like going back through where you could pick all the other jerseys. And I remember seeing that jersey of theirs, and I loved it every time. So that's my number 3.
Agreed. Number 2, we got an honorable mention from Ryan. I'm going with the Islanders fish stick jerseys. They're fantastic. Mr. Long John Silver himself on the jersey looks great. You probably know it's a theme with mine. That the logos suck, but they're amazing at the same time. So yeah, the fish stick jersey is great. It is so ridiculous.
My number 2, I'm gonna go with the LA Kings. I mean, I don't know what it is about LA Kings jerseys. You can't make a bad LA Kings jersey, in my opinion. You really can't. And the one that they have, it's remarkable. I absolutely love what they did with the jersey. It's a white jersey. They've got the old King crest from like the 80s. It's got the purple sleeves with a little bit of yellow trim on it. It looks fantastic.
Bring back the full-time purple. We don't got a purple team in the NHL. They got to bring it back.
Right. I
Just
agree.
my opinion.
Yep. There needs to be some
Full-time
purple. Right. I agree.
All right, so my number 2 is the Edmonton Oilers. It's just
Great pick.
it's a really nice logo. It's not super complex, and they didn't have to do a lot with it.
I
mean,
love
it
the oil
It looks
gear.
so good.
The oil
looks
gear
so
is a
drop.
great logo. That's a great logo right there. That's the oil gear.
I'm not on high on it as you guys are, but it is a nice jersey. I like what they did with the color scheme. It looks very nice, and it is a black jersey. I like black jerseys. So, all right, am I giving my number 1?
I think
Oh, I guess it's me now.
Chris is
Sorry.
good.
Yeah. I was
It's
waiting for
my
you, Chris.
turn. The number 1, the best jersey. This jersey is Ovi's jersey. This is Ovechkin's jersey. He made this jersey. Every time I see this jersey, the only thing I think of is Ovechkin, and it's the Screaming Eagle Capitals jersey. It is fantastic. I can't believe they got rid of this logo. I mean, I get it going to the red, white, and blue. I understand that. It makes sense. It's a good marketing ploy. But the Screaming Eagle, boys, look at it. It is ferocious. Ferocious. It's fantastic. And then the stripe on the bottom, that is so 90s. I love it. It says Capitals on it for no reason. Everyone knows you're the Capitals. You don't got to put your name there. But they did it anyway because, boy, howdy, they like their name. And I respect that. On like an emotional level, I respect it.
Random question on the jerseys. Do you like the Vegas jersey?
No,
It's okay, right?
I don't like it.
It's okay.
I have a soft spot for the diagonal word marks. I like them for some reason. I don't know why, and I fully understand that it is not very creative at all, but I like it. And I like the Canes jersey too. If the Stars did one that just said Stars diagonally in the same colors, I'd love it. I'd buy it.
Well, they did do that ugly black one that I wear sometimes. It says Stars and Arc, the one that James really likes. I can't stand
I
it.
thought it was Dallas. It's Dallas across.
Oh, maybe it says maybe it does say Dallas. Whatever. It looks like a college
Dallas.
jersey. I can't stand it.
Well, no, that one's a football jersey. That one sucks. But
Yeah.
if it said diagonal Stars, that would be cool. I'd like it.
Okay. James?
All right, I'll do my number 1 first, I guess.
Yeah.
So my number 1 is the LA Kings jersey. I'm with Ryan on this one. I love their old purple, that royal purple, and they have the gold in there. And they put just enough, but not too much. It just looks so nice. I love that jersey.
My number 1 is the most fantastic, ugliest jersey in this whole collection, in my opinion. But I love it. It's the Florida Panthers jersey. I love the Florida Panthers jersey. It is so fantastically ugly that it just stands out. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's a palm tree with a stick with a yellow sun behind it. I mean, what's more indicative of South Florida than that, right?
I feel like it's missing something in the middle there because I agree. I like the idea, and I like how they just let's just make it a sun, and then we'll add stuff around it, and that's what they did. But it feels like they need just a little panther with a hockey stick in front, going one direction. Like that X, it feels like we shouldn't see that. It feels naked.
It feels naked.
But the color scheme, love it.
Yeah, it's that. I guess, is it called powder blue?
That's sky blue. If it's a Florida jersey,
okay.
we're calling it sky blue because it's behind the sun.
Okay, sky blue with the yellow and the palm tree. I love the color scheme on this. It's fantastic. Is there any other jerseys that y'all particularly liked, but you couldn't put in the top 3?
I like the Sharks jersey.
I do too. That was actually the one I was thinking about too.
I'll say it. I wouldn't say it's in the top 5, but it's in the top 10, and it's it's out there. It's out there.
Mm-hmm. I actually do want to do a shout out to the Anaheim jersey too, because I love it. I don't know what it is about me with white jerseys, but I actually do love the white jerseys. And I do love the Dallas Stars reverse retro too. We should just go ahead and talk about
I
it
was actually about to
because
say my list is sans the Dallas Stars jersey because that would probably be in my top 3.
yep, I love it.
Too nostalgic.
Yep.
I had the Stars as third, and I was like, but we already we
Don't-
all
don't be
know that we
Homer,
like
yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
okay, I gotta change it.
See, what I thought was different about this reverse retro for the Stars compared to the last one is that the last year's reverse retro, I think a lot of people hated right off the bat. Like they could not stand that reverse retro. I personally liked it right off the bat, and then I think as we saw it more often and as time went on, I think a lot of more people realized, okay, this is actually kind of a cool jersey.
I think its timing was wrong. I mean, we just got the Tron Skyline jerseys, and we got another Tron. Then we got a Stormtrooper jersey. I mean, we needed a respite in there. So this jersey should have come before last jersey, and then people would have liked last jersey better, I think. But either way, we have it now, and it's beautiful, and it's classic.
Yep.
Much different than last year's.
Yeah, and see, that's what I appreciate about that. Unlike, some of the other teams that I mentioned, like Minnesota, they literally just switched it from a white jersey to a green jersey. It's still the same color scheme and everything. Like with this one, I especially love what they did. If you look really closely at the star in the center, they've got like the sort of kind of the same color of green, but you can like see the ridges where it kind of goes towards the center of the star. I think that's a cool feature. I absolutely love that. So, okay. Anyways, let's get into some Dallas Stars stuff because it's already getting kind of late. We got to go pretty quick here. Okay. What do we want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the news.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and get straight into the news. Kind of already answered the question for me.
Right into the news.
Right into the news. Okay, Peterson gets sent down to the AHL, and Blue Mel actually gets the call up from the AHL. He has 8 points in 5 AHL games to start the season. So, I should have seen this coming, but I didn't. I think I tweeted to Saad asking him if it was going to be Damiani or Bork, and he said Damiani first, and I didn't even think about Blue Mel. I mean, James, you talked about him at the beginning of the season in the preseason about how well he's been doing. So, are you surprised by this call up at all, James, or no? Oh, we might have lost.
I think James froze. I was wondering. I was like, he's
like standing too still there.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris, what do you think?
I'll answer for James. James knew this was coming. I didn't, but James for sure called this before we saw it. He's been playing great, like I said, in the NHL, but also Peterson. If Peterson played one more NHL game, he would have to clear waivers to be sent back down to the AHL. So that's why the timing of this happened the way it did. We're giving Blue Mel a chance, giving Peterson more playing time. That's what's happening.
And also Blue Mel was the one. Yeah, I'm back. Blue Mel was the one who did really good in the preseason. He looked really, really good. We were surprised when he didn't make it all the way to the end of camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of one of the ones that kind of came out of nowhere, it seemed like, right? So what I actually didn't know about this is he was actually trending on Twitter, and mostly because he was a draft pick of the Edmonton Oilers, and then he was signed by the Dallas Stars. He was a 4th round pick, and apparently the Edmonton Oilers Twitter group or whatever is really high on this guy. So he's going to get his NHL debut. There's no way they call him up and he's going to be a healthy scratch tomorrow night. There's no way.
No,
I would bet over $100 right now that Gary Onoff will be scratched. I think that's safe to say, right?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do it. I don't have $100. Go buy our merch.
Well, you're a college student. You ain't got no money. So this kind of leads me into my next question. It's a good segue in. What are the lines gonna look like tomorrow? Because it's really interesting, right? Because Gary Onoff is going to be scratched. So that second, I think it's the right wing spot.
Yeah.
Who's going to occupy that second right wing spot? Because we would think Dellandrea, right? Because Dellandrea has played really well with that second line, but he's even looked better on that third line with Ben and Johnston. So it's almost like you don't want to take him off that line. So do we see Blue Mel maybe try a top 6 spot and just let him play with Sagan and see what happens?
I think we'll see him in both places at some point throughout the game because he's shown, especially with that spot, he's not super. No one's really clicked super well the same way like Sagan and Marchment have, and Ben and frickin' Johnston have. So he's more liable to move that right wing spot there and flip him. So I think they'll play both.
What do you think is going to be more solidified though by the end of the night? Who is he mostly going to play with?
I think he's going to play on the third line with Ben and Johnston.
So let me ask you this, and it makes sense because why not move Johnston up to the second line?
Because he's a center.
So he's one of the few guys that are scoring goals on that third line.
Right,
Ben's not scoring
Who's
any.
taking faceoffs?
Who's taking
playing center?
Let Ben take faceoffs.
Who's playing center?
Ben.
No.
He can play center.
We already said Ben's not playing center. He hasn't done any centering at all this year so far.
Right, but like because Garyanov is not taking advantage of his opportunities, I mean, maybe this is a chance to
But Johnston's already doing great on that line. I mean, he already has 3 goals on the year. He's solidified himself as I mean, he's in the NHL now, almost without a doubt, in my opinion. So
if Ryan is saying that Johnston ends up on that second line, what if you pull Foxa off the fourth line and make Foxa the third line center, and then have Glenn Denny?
I like that idea better, actually. Yeah, that's actually a better idea.
I still don't like the idea, but I like that better.
Yeah, but what if he actually?
We pay you, James. Thank you.
That's why James gets the big bucks. Why not give him a chance on that second line?
Because he's a center. Because he is a center and he is playing good at center, so we're not going to move him from center.
He is a young guy, and if he gets more playing time on the second line, and he's going to get that expectation of, hey, you can actually get more points
playing time on the third line.
Yeah, they're rolling all the lines this year. Yeah, everyone's getting the same amount of time, pretty much.
And Delandria led forwards on time on ice 2 games ago.
That's crazy.
So we don't know what the heck's going to happen.
This is because of all the penalties.
Still. That's crazy. No, that was on nobody's bingo card.
So I think ultimately what I think we'll see is we'll see Blue Mel on that second line. But I would like to see Johnston at least get a shot on that second line. I don't think we'll see it, but I think Blue Mel will get that chance just because Garyanov he hasn't done it. And it kind of sucks for Peterson because he got a 1-game tryout and that was about it. And he did not look good in that 1 game. So, yeah. I mean, it's hard to be scratched for the first 5 games, come in the 6th game, and play as bad as he did. So, hopefully we see him come up soon.
But that's just how the league goes sometimes. I mean, that's what Hanley
right.
That's what Hanley has thrived on for the past 3 years is that he's able to just come into the lineup and play like he always does. It's something that you have to take advantage of. You don't have a choice.
So ultimately, I think that's what we'll see. We'll see Blue Mel get that shot on the second line, and it'll be interesting because a lot of people don't know who he is, including us in a lot of aspects. We talked about him a lot in preseason, but I mean, honestly, I can say I didn't really even know who he was before preseason even started.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that we even signed him.
Right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I didn't even realize. I think we might have mentioned it very briefly in one of our episodes in August. Oh, hey, we signed this dude. Yeah, okay, now let's move on. Now he's making his season debut, and he may be the answer for that second line to play with Marchment and Sagan. We'll see.
That would be epic.
That would be
quick
very
sidebar on this. We talked about this in the preseason. Give the young guys a chance. It has totally happened, and boy, is it working out great. I mean, it's fantastic so far. Kibby Rata is back. He's showing up. JFK is here. And Delandria is playing fantastic. He looks like a top 6 forward right now. He's playing so well. So this is fantastic. I love it.
Let's kind of segue a little bit into this because we mentioned it briefly, and I think this is a very obvious answer to this question at this point. Is Johnston staying with the Dallas Stars for the full season?
Yeah. This was a much bigger question before the past 2 games.
Right, exactly.
2 goals. So
right.
I think he has to. If you're saying that this team is going to win right now, we're doing it.
Well, the other thing about this, though, too, is that he's not just doing it offensively. We're seeing it defensively too. Like I've noticed him. Like, and maybe it's because
I
I'm
noticed him.
specifically. Go ahead, Dan.
I honestly noticed him more on the defensive side than the offensive side. He's always back on the puck all the time. It's
scoring.
Yeah,
and he's scoring on top of that.
It looks like he's been in the league for a year or two already. So.
Agreed. Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's any holes. No. Maybe muscle on the boards, and that's it.
And that's the only thing I would say too. He could get bigger because I mean when he's on the ice, I mean you can tell with both him and there's one or two other, but they just look smaller. They're not height wise, but like they just aren't as filled out.
They're not winning physical battles.
Delandria, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's who I'm thinking of, and I think I'm thinking of Lundqvist as well, actually. But
that's true.
All of those. I mean, that's really the only thing he can do is just fill out his body more. I mean,
yeah, get like me. You like me, you'd be great.
Sure, Chris. Sure. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we've seen this past week. For some reason, the Dallas Stars cannot beat the Ottawa Senators, even before they were considered good this year, right? So their record currently in the last 11 games against one of the worst teams in the past 5 to 7 years, 2, 6, and 3. They have won 2 out of 11 games against the Ottawa Senators. That makes absolutely zero sense. I don't understand.
Some teams just have your number. Some teams just have your number, man. That's all I can say. It's like we do that to teams sometimes too. I mean, we do that to the Avalanche pretty regularly. We find a way to beat them. Yeah, and Edmonton. I mean, those are great teams, but there's just sometimes yeah, you just don't lose to certain teams. I think it's the craziest thing ever because it's throughout the league. It's not just like this happens just with the Stars or just with the Sens. It's like there's just some matchups that just favor one team so much. It's crazy.
Yeah. But over the course of 7 years?
7 years is great.
That doesn't make any sense. That's weird.
In my opinion. I don't think there's because this team is the polar opposite of last year's team for the Stars. So I think it's just chance.
Yeah. And honestly, coming into the Sens game, I was like, oh man, we always lose to the Senators. I did not feel good.
And I felt the same way about Boston. I was like, we never beat Boston. We're going to lose.
Luckily, we only have
We're going to lose to Boston unless Tyler Seguin wins. And then that stat popped up on the TV, and it was like, Chris, you're right. We only win when Seguin wins for us. And I was like, wow. I really didn't pay attention.
Oh, man, that's funny. Oh, it's just crazy. Let's talk about.
By the way, was Tyler Seguin was he the only player on the roster that had game-winning goals against the Bruins?
Yes. Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, speaking of teams that have continued to be really good, and they're missing a bunch of players. Boston. That's gonna be scary if they get their players back.
Whew.
Imagine they get worse.
that would be hilarious. Brad Marchand, you're going back to LTIR. You suck.
We'll take him.
Seriously. I'd love to have him on our team. Let's talk about Pavelski a little bit because the guy continues to defy age. He's 38, gets a hat trick in that one game against Montreal. I mean,
oh, stupid! What the heck?
I don't know what else to say about the guy. I mean, he's making $5.5 million.
Yeah.
I mean that's a steal for somebody that can do that.
He took a pay cut for us so that we could sign Robertson.
Pretty much.
I mean, I love that man. What he's done.
I mean, I love him.
It really is insane what he's done. I mean, since he's been to Dallas, he's progressively gotten more and more points each season. So, yeah. I mean, the first season he had 31 in 67 games. Next season, 51 points in 56 games, and just last season, 81 points in 82 games. Yeah.
His numbers right now are better than he was at his peak in San Jose. And he's playing for the exact same coach right now.
Then that's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
Pay the man.
So
Let's sign him again right now. I mean, I don't
yeah,
care. Sign him until
seriously.
he's 45. I mean, at this point, we've already given Suter till he was 40. He's not even that great. So
Suter 2.0. So I wanted to ask a big question about this because it's about Miro, and I don't know whether to be worried about this or if I'm just freaking out too much. Yes, he's just missed one game so far, but I don't expect him to play against the whoever we're playing on Thursday, the
The
Capitals.
Capitals.
I don't expect him to play against the Capitals because the game is too close together. Are we going to be okay without him? Because I mean, shout out to Lundqvist. He played really well. Asking him to just jump into a spot as basically our only puck moving defenseman at this point. But I mean, are the Stars going to be able to win games without Miro Heiskanen? Because I mean, I would assume that he was hurt on Monday, and that's why we probably lost that game. And then we did not play all that great against the team on Monday either against the.
They can win,
Senators.
but they have to play 5-on-5. I mean, we can't.
Yeah, we can't go on the penalty kill,
and we can't get on the
And
power
we
play
can't-
because he's our best player on
either.
both sides. So we need to play 5-on-5. We need to play a clean game, and we need to find a way to get out of our own zone without Miro.
Yeah, and honestly, in last night's game, it was a little. It was really weird for me to see that Suter had almost 26 minutes on ice, and Lindell didn't, and Lindell barely made it to 20.
That was weird to me as well.
Yeah, I mean, why are we leaning on Suter so much? I mean, he's going to break. We don't need to break two of them.
And it's like, yes, we're not big fans of that contract that Suter has and everything, but he's still a capable, maybe middle pairing defenseman, but he's still more suited for that bottom pairing. In all reality, that's probably where he should be playing right now. And what I don't understand is, and I'm glad you brought that up, James, is because Lindell is way more serviceable than Suter is. And I even think that Esa Lindell should get a shot on the power play rather than Ryan Suter at this point.
I agree.
I mean, at least give somebody else a shot because the power play, honestly, yesterday was absolutely atrocious. It was.
I feel like Suter even being on that second line power play is ridiculous. I mean, I don't think he's been good at all in the power play. And I gave him his credit defensively, except for last night. But also last night he was on the second night of it back-to-back. He played 26 minutes, and he's 38 or whatever he is. So I'll give him a break for that. But overall, he's decent defensively, but he has never looked good on the power play this year or last year. So I don't understand why he's still given that.
Yeah, I don't know. I expect Lindell's ice time to go up, and I expect to see Suter's to go down because I don't know. That's just what I expect to see. So, and, maybe the answer for the power play for the Stars right now is literally just to go with 5 forwards. I know that's risky, but other than Lundqvist, I don't really think there's anybody else that. I mean, Hakanpää. I mean, he's got a blast from the point, but that's about it.
Just have Hentz play like a defenseman. He'll be fine. Hentz quarterback the power play.
Famous last words. Famous last words. 3 shorthanded goals in the next game.
Yeah, 4 Hentz. Duh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's get into the Who Cares segment for tonight's you guys. I'm going to throw this on you, and it didn't have to be top 3 because it may be hard to think of your top 3, but let's talk, since we're getting close to Halloween here, what I want to talk about is your top 3 horror films or scary films or thriller films or whatever. Insert the blank here. Talking about scary movies. Would you like me to go first?
Sure,
I
you
can
go first. Oh, no, James, go first.
I got a number 3.
Okay.
Number 3, Monster House. That movie's scary. You can't tell me otherwise.
Monster House?
Monster House is scary.
Good pick.
It's traumatizing as a
Good
kid,
pick.
okay? That
Oh
movie
my
is traumatizing as a kid.
I throw this on you guys because I'm expecting you guys to not agree. And then the first thing James says, he says Monster House, and
That's
Chris
a
is
great
like,
pick.
"Oh, it's a fantastic
It,
play."
it is a
That's a
great
great
pick.
pick.
Oh my gosh, what have I done? Okay. Okay. I guess I'll do my number 3. My number 3 is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And it's a kind of it's not an older film. It's like from like 2010, 2011. But dude, it's super freaky. And the thing about that movie that makes me it just makes me cringe is because the last scene, there's like these little demon creatures or whatever. They're pulling somebody down into the basement or whatever. And it not to get so graphic here, but it makes me cringe because their bones break. But they pull them down, and you know how legs are supposed. If this is a person's leg, it's supposed to go like this. Okay, it goes completely in like that, and oh, it like makes me cringe every single time. And I love that movie at the same time. It freaks me out every single time. So that's my number 3. Chris.
My number 3, I'm gonna go with The Boy.
Oh, that's a good
This
pick.
one was
I
a
didn't even
little
think about that one.
marionette boy who we see him move around all creepily, like, oh, it's a ghost. Nope, it's a freaking fully grown man child moving around this little doll thing and chases around the weird old nanny boy, and he lived in the walls. So yeah, that was scary as heck.
Probably just because
All
it
right.
was as realistic as it could be. That is freaking creepy. I agree.
All right, my number 2. My number 2 is Toy Story because Woody is freaking scary, dude. He turns his head all the way around.
Great pick.
That is terrifying. You can't tell me that's not terrifying.
Great pick.
Okay.
I hate
Play
you both.
nice. Horror movie quote of the decade.
It's terrifying.
Great pick.
I hate you both. Seriously, like I hate you both. You've ruined it.
All right, Ryan, go ahead.
Okay, I guess my number 2. I'm gonna go with The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 2. The whole series of Conjuring, I absolutely love. So like all of the Annabelle movies and all of the Valak movies. I love all of those. It's
I watched
fantastic.
30 minutes of The Conjuring, and I walked out when I saw the demon on top of the dresser, and I have not watched any of The Conjuring since then.
What do you mean? I watched all of The Conjuring. That was such an easy movie to watch.
Well,
I love it.
Here's a little thing about me. I hate scary movies. So
Well, then why'd you go to a movie theater to watch it?
I wasn't in the movie theater. This was like yesterday.
Oh.
No, it wasn't yesterday. It was like 2 years ago, but still.
Okay. All right. I don't even know where we're at. Are we on number 1 yet?
No, it's me. It's me doing
Okay.
number 2. My
Okay,
number
you do
two
number 2.
is
You're pooping?
okay. My number 2
was funny.
is
Get over it.
Halloween Remade 2018. The one that came out just a few years ago.
That's a good choice. I like that.
That was
movie.
great. See this? I don't know why. I do not find the Halloween movies scary. I just find them funny. So the entire time I watch this, I'm the only one in the whole theater that's just laughing my head off when the dude curb stomps the guy in this. In this movie, this is where the curb stomp happens. Boy, that was hilarious. Man just got curb stomped.
Oh man. Oh man.
All right.
All right, James.
So for my number 1, I'm going a little obscure, okay? We got to go to the Tormater short stories, right? The Ghost Light. Oh my goodness, that thing is terrifying. Talk about scary. Like aliens just come out of nowhere and abduct him. That's terrifying.
Fantastic list.
I cannot believe we're doing this live.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the next Who Cares segment needs to be Who Cares segment list. That's my number 1 Who Cares segment list of all time.
I've already won. I've already won tonight.
I agree. James wins.
I hate you both. My number 1 is The Shining. The Shining is like one of the absolute creepiest movies ever. It's constantly in all sorts of pop culture references and memes and all sorts of stuff. And it's just flat out creepy. It's one of the few movies that like gives me nightmares when I go to sleep. Like,
Yeah,
oh
did
my
mine too.
goodness, that
Very scary.
it's scary. So, yeah, that's it.
All right, my number 1 is Halloween Kills, the sequel to Halloween 2018. This movie is the funniest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. This Michael Myers dude is just running around and everyone's all together. They're all safe at the hospital. And everyone's like, you know what we should do? Let's split up, gang.
Straight
Good
Scooby-Doo
idea.
style.
Straight Scooby-Doo style on Michael Myers. That's a terrible idea. You got
Yeah.
4 guys, and then they find him, and they're not like, okay, let's call in the backup. Ring, ring. They're like, nah, we got this, dog. 3 of us, 2 of us are small, frail little women. We're going to take down Michael Myers all by ourselves and be the heroes. Yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, did you see the ending of this movie? Spoiler alert. And spoiler alert to anyone who has not seen Halloween Kills. If you haven't seen it, you know how it goes. It's Halloween. Yeah, he kills a lot of people. But anyway, they all get him. They all got Michael Myers. They're just beating him over with baseball bats and rakes and whatever. For whatever reason, they're not shooting him. No, they actually did shoot him several times. They shot him several times. Like, Michael Myers gets shot several times with a gun. And they do the whole montage. It goes slow-mo. They're like, oh, wow. They're finally going to do it. They're finally going to get Michael Myers. He's going to die. And then he's just like, oh, wait, I'm getting beat up. And then he just stands up and kills every single one of them. All of them. They all die. Every single one.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
So, like, I haven't seen the new movie yet. I'm thinking, all right, they shot the man. What else? So he's been burned and shot, and he's still alive. He's unkillable. I mean, he's gonna live forever.
Yeah, because if they kill him, then there's no more movies. Right?
I guess.
Right. I know exactly. Right.
I don't know.
You know the type of scary movies that I hate, and they've overdone it way too much. It's the Paranormal Activity movies. Like I've never thought any of those were any good. Like any of those.
I haven't watched them.
You haven't seen? You haven't even seen one?
Nope.
Really? I think I've seen like number 1 and like 3 or 4. So I've seen like they've made like 6 or 7. I think something like that. Something crazy. I was like, they just need to give it up. Give it up.
Well, thanks for sparking my nightmares again tonight, Ryan. I really appreciate it. The melatonin dreams will be off the charts.
Yes. Extra drugs for you tonight, Christian.
Yeah,
Extra drugs.
I'll take 3 just for you.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm gonna need some too. All right. Anything else, you guys? I think that's it.
Nope. Hopefully we stop losing. That'd be fun.
Yep. And we will see you guys tomorrow night.
Wow, that's crazy. We're gonna see you tomorrow night. That's weird.
That's insane.
4 nights in a row. Yeah.
Gosh, just subscribe to the thing because you're gonna see us all the time. Subscribe, like the thing. Go to the DraftKings thing up here that Ryan always talks about. Do that. The promo code is THBN. It gives you free little goodies like he always says. Do that. Buy stuff from sarcasticremarksshop.com. Was that correct, Ryan?
Sarcasticremarksshop.com. Good for you, Chris.
Let me tell you, we are going to outfit your bathrooms. All right. We already have the bath mat. Phase 3, the shower curtain's coming. Phase 4, we're going to get like the shade, the lamp shade that goes over the bathroom lights. Let me tell you, you don't think you need those, you need them.
We're going to have custom cabinets. Custom
cabinet wallpaper.
How about, can we get a toothbrush, a Sarcastic Remarks toothbrush as well?
Sarcastic Remarks toiletry essentials.
Yes.
That has to be next.
Y'all are making my job so much harder.
That has to be next.
That has to happen, dude.
Oh, man. Oh, you can tell we're all tired.
Go do all the stuff, everybody, please. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Right, Ryan?
Sure. I'm not even going to do it. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good night,
He
guys.
did it.
We hope you guys have a good, fantastic evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Bye.